without further ado, I shall mute your microphones for the time being. And we're going to be looking at using AI to your advantage. And I've quite enjoyed putting this one together because I quite like AI. It's not for everybody, and a lot of people find it quite scary, but it shouldn't be scary. Um, it's a very useful helper, and I want to try and make it approachable. I'm going to try and not use any jargon, just some examples of how you can use it. And I want to see if it's something that you might want to use to save time and reduce any sort of stress that you might have if you've got a big job to do. And we're going to spend a real short time to start off with just looking at what AI actually is and how it came about. And then the bulk of the session is going to be me doing some demonstrations with some AI that I've got here ready to help us. So first of all, we're going to think about what AI is. And we will delve into this a little bit deeper, but the simple explanation is that AI, it's smart software that can help you with tasks. And it does it by spotting patterns in things, and then it recreates those patterns for you in clever ways. It's not magic. It sometimes looks a bit magical, but it's not magic at all. And it's not anything like human thinking. People think that AI it's trying to emulate the way that humans think, but it is not. And it's also definitely not perfect. And that's something that we'll get into. It often gives incorrect answers, but it can still be useful despite its deficiencies. So it's a little bit like if you've ever been typing something in on your phone or on the computer, and it gives you a suggestion for something to auto-complete your sentence. It might suggest what the next word is, but taken to the next sort of level. It's a little bit also like having an assistant that you employ that never gets annoyed with you and never gets tired. You can talk with it as much or as little as you want. It's quite amazing in that respect. And I'm going to go, this isn't going to be a history talk, but I want to talk about the history a little bit, because what people don't realize is that this AI stuff has been on the way for a really long time. Even though it's only recently hitting the headlines, it's actually something that computer techie people have been thinking about since the 1950s. And that's when they started having some real early experiments in machine thinking. It took a little while because of the limitations of technology. The next sort of big milestone that people saw in the headlines was about 1997, and that's when an AI beat a chess grandmaster. An AI called Deep Blue beat Kasparov, which was quite a headline-grabbing thing. That was the first time that a grandmaster chess player had been beaten by a computer. And then we sort of forward a little bit to the 2010s, and it starts coming into the public consciousness a little bit more with Siri, Apple's Siri, Alexa, which is the Amazon Echo devices, and Google Translate. And you might not realize that Google Translate has a basis in AI as well. And then we come to the 2020s, and that's, of course, where we are now. And that's when we've got the real eye-catching stuff that people notice. It's the stuff that that really makes people sit up and go, now it's useful. It's been on the way for a long time, but now it's actually useful. AI is it does learn, not like a person. It learns by looking at what are called data sets. The people that create the AI give the AI these things like books and websites, and they give it photos, they give it huge amounts of data, which allows the AI to sort of digest all of this information. And what it's very good at then is looking for patterns. So it looks for patterns, and once it's seen these patterns repeated over and over again in the text that it sees and the photos that it sees, then it's able to make predictions. And this is of course, it's far more technical than this, but this is the basis of how it works. And it doesn't understand like we understand. It's really like a super powered parrot. It just repeats the stuff that it's seen, and it uses like statistical analysis to see what has it seen more of, what is it more likely to need to say at this point. It's kind of got this script that it has to generate for itself based on all of the stuff that it's seen before. And you may not know it, but you're probably already using it. It's been around in less eye-catching ways for many years. The most recent stuff that we're seeing are called large language models, and that's what we're going to be looking at mostly today with ChatGPT and things like that. But if you've ever used spam filters on your email, that is AI. It looks at all of the emails that customers have marked as being spam, and it takes all of that information and then it makes clever guesses as to whether the next email that comes in is spam or not, based on whether it's all in capitals and has exclamation points and comes from a foreign address. It looks at all of this stuff that other people have filtered out before. If you've used any sort of navigation stuff, that's AI. It looks at the routes that people have taken before, which routes were quicker, which routes were easier, what has the traffic been like on previous days, weeks, and months, and it makes a good guess as to which is going to be your best route to take. In photo software, I was talking with this just a moment ago, the photo apps, you can now get it to automatically do an edit that will take something out of the photo app, but also things that they've been doing for much longer, like face recognition. If you say to it, this photo is a picture of David, then it can go, okay, and here's 20 other pictures of David for you, because it's got that AI, it can recognize the face. And also things like voice to text. So if you have ever spoken to your phone or spoken to your computer and got it to transcribe for you, the basis of that also comes from AI. They give the AI thousands and thousands of hours worth of recordings, and they give it the same things that transcribed then by humans, and it puts those two parts together and then uses that to create a model of what is the speech and how does that turn into text. And things like recommendations as well. If you've ever watched a program on something like BBC iPlayer or Netflix, and then it says, you've finished watching that one, here's the next thing that you might like. Well, that's based on the AI looking at everything that everyone else has watched. And if one person watched program A, there's a good chance that they're also going to watch and enjoy program B. So it's not humans that do this sort of stuff. This is AI in the background doing this sort of stuff for us. But what we're really interested in today is how this AI can be of use to us, because some of that stuff that I've mentioned, it just happens automatically in the background, like the face recognition stuff. We don't have to tell it, recognize pictures of David for me, please. It just does that in the background. So I'm not going to talk about those side of things. We're going to look at some of the uses that we can actually have a go at today and show you how some of them work. So there's quite a few things that we can do with modern AIs, and I'm just going to go through some of them. So I'm going to demonstrate some things to do with writing, because this is a big area for AI. It's really good at recognizing language now, and as such, it can look at something that you want to write and help you write it. It can look at something that you've written and make it better. So you can say, make this briefer, give me a summary of something, edit it down so it's under 1,000 words, make it friendly, make it professional. It can help you with research for writing as well. You can ask it questions and it can bring information in for you. People also use it for search. It is quickly becoming a more popular way of searching the internet than Google. I don't think it is the most popular way of searching yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if in the next year or so, standard Google searches and standard search engines drop by the wayside as we get more used to AI search that just brings us an answer without necessarily showing us all of the websites that it's come from. We can use it for planning things. So I'm going to do a bit of a demonstration where it can plan a day out somewhere for us. Um, it can do creation now of photos and videos, which has some potential downsides for society in terms of deep fakes and things like that. But it's actually quite fun as individuals for us to be able to play with that if we ever wanted to create images. Um, it can transcribe audio into text, something that I've mentioned before, but it can also transcribe large amounts of audio, say from a meeting, and then generate notes from that text or generate summaries. So for a lot of people, they'll just leave their phone recording a meeting and then feed it into an AI after the meeting and say, right, give me a summary. What are all the action points from this meeting? What is it that Chris has to do after this meeting? What did he agree to do? Um, and the AIs are also used just as general digital assistants. And we're not seeing the more up-to-date and clever AIs sort of coming into the digital assistants like the Amazon Echo or the Google Nest or the Apple Siri quite yet, but that is pretty close, I believe. At the moment, we have to go into specific pieces of software to use this AI. But I don't think it'll be too long before these AIs are sat on people's kitchen tables and windowsills and bookshelves, and you can just shout out to them and talk to them. So before we get into the sort of demonstrations, I wanted to just make you aware of some of the AI tools that there are out there. And I'm not expecting you to become familiar with all of these, but I'm just interested to see, I suppose, whether you might have heard of some of these already or whether many of these are new to you. So I actually used an AI to tell me what the most popular AI tools are at the moment, and it gave me a list. And they were ChatGPT was the first one. That's the one I'm going to be doing quite a lot of demonstrations on, and that is currently the most popular AI tool. There's also Google Gemini, and Google have been a big player in AI for many years. They have spent a lot of money on research. They were some of the sort of first people to start doing proper, expensive AI research. There is Microsoft's Copilot, which if you use Microsoft Office, this Copilot is sort of built into all of Microsoft Office now, and that's probably why it's one of the most popular tools, just because it's there already for a lot of Office users. Then there's one that, well, there's a few actually that you may not have heard of. Claude by Anthropic is getting more and more popular. It's very popular in the world of computer coding. It's quite good at creating programming code for people. Then there is Perplexity. This one is an AI-powered search engine. So instead of a normal search engine like Google, where you would get right, here are the most popular websites for that search, website 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here they all are, it will just give you a concise answer on whatever you've asked for, and then will cite the websites for you. So if you want to delve in deeper, you can go to those websites to see where it's got the answers from. There's Midjourney, which I'm going to be doing some demonstrations of in a little bit, and that is for generating images and video. This is a more recent one that's been in the news a little bit, Grok. This one's been developed by Elon Musk, who owns Twitter and Tesla and SpaceX. It's a little bit controversial. I think they have tried to make it less woke, and as such, it ends up saying things that are relatively offensive to a great many people. But I believe they're tweaking it to make it less offensive. It's supposed to be quite a high-end one. And there's another one that's very popular that I think people don't realize is an AI, and that's something called Grammarly. And Grammarly has been around again for many a year to take writing and help you with the grammar. So it's like a souped up version of the grammar checker that you might get in things like Apple's Pages or Microsoft Word, but it's actually much better at it than those bits of software. Today, I'm going to be demonstrating three: ChatGPT, the most popular one, Midjourney, and part of Google Gemini, something that's called NotebookLM, which I think is really useful. So I'm going to change my sharing now to show you my my desktop. So here's my desktop with my keynote presentation, which I will move to one side. And I've got here the app window open for ChatGPT. And I have an account with ChatGPT. I pay £20 a month. There is a free version. I started using it when it was free, and it still is free, by the way, if you want to use it just for basic things. But then it does more as you pay for it. It allows you to use it more, get better answers. The free version has a daily limit to how much you can use it. So I pretty quickly wanted to start using it on the paid version. And before we dive into how it works, I'd like to show you something. Up in the ChatGPT menu here, there's a settings section. And one of the things that I like to show people in settings is there's an option here to customize ChatGPT. And if I click on this, you can see the customization that I have put into this. So what should ChatGPT call you? So it knows my name. What do you do? I've told it I'm a technology teacher and a parent and a husband. And then it asks, what traits should ChatGPT have? So I've asked it to get your information across succinctly. I would like it if you could point out problems with my ideas whilst being encouraging, and you should try to be funny and slightly sarcastic, because that's what I that's what I like. That's what I want in an assistant. There are other options here. I could say that I want it to be chatty or witty or straight shooting or skeptical or traditional. You can see there's all of these options down here. Do I want it to be empathetic or think outside the box? And I can give it other things that it should know about me. So these AIs, they're not just one size fits all. They do an awful lot of stuff. The sort of stuff that they do can be set up by your own preferences. Now, I've just turned off my sharing for a moment because I want to set it up so that when I share it next, it's just sharing the ChatGPT window on its own, so you can see the details a little bit better. And I'm also telling it to share the sound because as well as being able to type in questions to ChatGPT, and other AIs, by the way, not just ChatGPT, you can also talk to it. You can ask it questions with speech. So I thought, what better way of starting the demonstration than to get ChatGPT to introduce itself. So if I press this little button in the bottom right, the black circle with the little 4 bars in it, then I can talk to it. Hi, I'm giving a talk about AI. You are speaking to my customers, and I would just like you to introduce yourself to them and let them know the sort of things that you might be able to help them with in their day-to-day lives.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to introduce myself. Hello, everyone. I'm ChatGPT, and I'm here to help you navigate the world of technology and beyond. Whether you have questions about using new software, want tips on improving your productivity, or just need a bit of guidance on a tech challenge, I'm here to help. Feel free to ask me anything.
Now that's interesting. Today you've said that you're a tech thing specifically. I wonder if that's because you've learnt that I'm a tech person and you're doing a little bit of what I do. You can do other things other than tech, yes, can't you?
Oh, absolutely. I can help with all sorts of things beyond tech, whether it's planning a trip, suggesting recipes, or even adding into random trivia. I'm pretty versatile, so whatever you need, I'm here for it.
So if I press the little X here, this will turn off the speech side of things. But you might see it's also taken a transcription of everything that we've said here. So if you do speak to it, it will remember what you've done. You can go back to it and see what it said afterwards. Um, I'm not going to be speaking to it on the whole today, although I think that's quite a useful way of using AIs. It's quite nice to be able to just talk to them. But I think a lot of what I'm going to do today is typing. And because I'm not the fastest of typists, some of this I have already sort of pre-prepared. So I'm just going to open up a new chat. So up in the top left here, if I click ChatGPT, it takes me to an empty chat. And I just wanted to show you the sort of things that you could ask it. And I was trying to come up with some ideas for this. And some of these are things that are quite specific to me. So things like, if I've got something on Facebook that I've found and I want to see if it's accurate or not. So let me just paste in my question. How can I check if something I read on Facebook is accurate or not? So it takes the question, it has a bit of a think about it, and then it pops out an answer. Now, we're not going to read all of this through step by step, but you'll see it gives us some quite good, clear, specific advice that's relative to what I've asked it. So if I've got something that I've seen on the internet or on a news site or on social media, and I think, I wonder whether this is accurate or not, it thinks perhaps we should Google the phrase, copy a word or sentence from the post, search it in Google. We should check the source and see whether we've heard of that site before, and does it look like it's got lots of adverts on it? Is it a specific, suspiciously generic name like the Global Truth Report? And it's given us a website to check how reliable things are. Check the date on it. Apply the too good to be true rule if it seems shockingly outrageous or aligns a bit too perfectly with someone's political agenda, might be suspicious. It gives us a list of fact-checking tools. The clever thing here is that it gives us links to these things. So if I hover over something like Full Fact or Snopes, if I were to click on these, it will pop it open. Now, you won't be able to see that because it's opened up in a separate window, but it opens it up for me and takes me directly to that website. It also says at the end, if all else fails, ask me. So you can check with an AI whether something is true or not. Let me give it another thing to look at. So let's say I've got a question about something medical. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. What are some proven ways to get started successfully? But I've put on the end here quite an interesting little phrase. I've said, cite your sources. So that means I don't just want it to tell me an answer. I want to be able to dig down and find out why it's given me that answer. Let's see what it might tell me. Now, it seems to be going a little bit slow for me at the moment. Ah, there we go. It seems to have sped up. So set realistic goals, track your progress. It's quite interesting watching it do this, because it really points out to me that this is very much like one of these autocomplete tools that you might use on your phone or on the computer, where it suggests the next word or suggests the next sentence for you. You can actually sort of watch it generating this stuff as you go. Eat fewer calories than you burn. Exercise helps, but diet is the key. Daily activity. So it's all sorts of bits and pieces that it's giving to us here. So if there's any particular topic that you want to know about, AI can be quite good at giving us a succinct set of steps that you might need, where going and searching for a similar sort of thing on the internet can quite quickly get fairly overwhelming fairly quickly. We won't go through all of these things on how to lose weight. In fact, I will tell it to stop just there. And I'll start up a new one because I wanted to show you some of the things that it can help with in terms of writing. So let's start with something fun. Let's see if it can write me some poetry. Now, I haven't tested any of these, by the way. These are all new to me. I sort of made a bit of a list earlier of things I wanted to ask it, and we'll see what it gives us together. Write a poem about Chris from Birmingham who teaches computers. There we go. Let's see what it says. There was once a gent from Brumtown bright who lit up screens with pixel light. With a mouse in hand and caffeine stash, he taught the clueless how to bash. Bit rude. Um, and it goes on. It's given me 6 verses here. Let's say I want to write a complaint letter to my local MP. Now, all of these things are things that you could imagine that you might very easily be able to do yourself. None of these are difficult jobs. What the AI is good at is doing things very quickly. And just because it gives you this letter, it doesn't mean that you have to use it outright. It's very good, I've found, when you want a suggestion. You're not sure how to start something. And this is quite a nice first step for getting you over that difficult hump of, right, oh, I've got to write this thing. Oh, I've got no idea what I'm supposed to say. I don't know how to do it. And what it can do here is just give you a template to get you started. You don't have to use it all. But I mean, let's see what it says. Dear MP's name, subject, ongoing issue with potholes on local roads. I'm writing to raise a growing concern in our local area, the utterly dismal state of our roads. Quite frankly, the pothole situation has gone from irritating to absurd. It I've also, of course, changed ChatGPT to try and be funny and a little bit sarcastic. So you'll find that the answers that I get are going to be different from the generic answers that most people might be given, or the answer that it might give you if you're using ChatGPT and you've set up your own set of preferences. I can see the last thing it says here. A prompt response would be appreciated, ideally before the next pothole swallows a small car. Now, it says at the end here, let me know if you'd like it more formal, more sarcastic, or targeted to a specific location or MP. I'm going to say here, make it more formal, please. I don't have to say please, by the way. That's just the way I was brought up. Make it more formal, please. And then it does the same sort of thing, but now it will have less funny stuff and less of the sarcasm, and it might actually be a bit more useful than a sarcastic one. That sounds far more professional. I understand that local councils face financial and logistical pressures, but the current state of our roads suggests that essential maintenance and resurfacing work is either overdue or insufficient. Let's see what else I've got here in terms of writing. I'm jumping through this a little bit because I had so many things that I wanted to show you and so many ideas for things that I'm not going to dwell on too much of this. But let's see what it does if I say, write a thank you note to my friend who gave me £20 for my birthday and make it funny. I'm traditionally terrible at writing thank you notes. It tends to be, dear so-and-so, thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for the £20 birthday gift. I was genuinely touched and also immediately tempted to blow it all on something irresponsible, like 400 Freddos or 1.5 pints in London. Sounds about right. So in terms of writing stuff, AIs can be really good at taking that first step for you if you're not sure how to start. You certainly don't have to go with it for every single idea that it gives you, but you can get it to iterate on what it gives you. You can tell it to change that to make it better in this way, make it more formal, make it more funny, and it will just go ahead and do it. I want to show you some planning, because this is another thing that I've found it quite useful for, and apparently this is something that a lot of people use AIs for now. I thought I might like to go down the road to Stratford-on-Avon. And so I'm going to ask ChatGPT, plan a day trip in Stratford-upon-Avon with good food and museums. Now, as well as doing the sort of pattern recognition stuff, tools like ChatGPT also have access to the internet at large. They don't always use it, but I think in this case, there's a good chance that it will use its internet connection to bring back things that are specific to Stratford-upon-Avon. So let's see what it says. Day trip to Stratford-upon-Avon with culture, history, and some delightful dining experiences. Morning. It suggests Shakespeare's birthplace. Sounds pretty good. Shakespeare's schoolroom and Guildhall. And then lunch, it says Loxley's Restaurant and Wine Bar. Now, what's interesting here is it's given us, once again, the link out. And it's got a link here to the Loxley's website, I would imagine, and also an article from The Sun, the Cozy X farmhouse that's now a hotel, right by the Cotswolds with its own beer garden. So it's found this in a couple of places. And then another one, the Woodsman Restaurant in Stratford upon Avon. So it's gone through not just saying, it doesn't just give you the very first thing that it finds on Google. It's done a little bit of background on these things as well. It's suggesting the Mad Museum and Tudor World, a tea break because we're British, the four teas, and then relaxing by the riverside for the evening. So it's, again, I don't have to go with it, but if I wanted to make it look like I'd spent a lot of time planning the family's trip out to Stratford upon Avon, this would be quite a good way of doing it. Not that I would ever lie to my family about that side of things. I'm too good for that. Here's another one that's quite good. Cooking. I long ago got rid of recipe books. I only have a handful of them now because they were taking up so much space in the kitchen. I spent a lot of years just going onto the internet and searching for recipes on the internet. But AI can go a step further, because what you can do with AI if you're doing your cooking is you can tell it what you've got in the cupboard. I have some leftover rice, an aubergine, some grated cheese, and some bread that's a bit stale. What could I cook? So it can take all of that into its database, look through recipes that it's got, and it will look not just at recipes that it's seen on the internet, but it looks at patterns in those recipes. So actually, AIs can generate new recipes. They're not going to be as good as a professional chef, I'm sure, but they will use actual patterns of things that they have seen from other recipes. So it's suggesting aubergine and cheese baked rice, lazy moussaka-ish casserole. Slice your aubergine, fry it up, put your rice in, sprinkle with cheese, add some tomato sauce, optional if you've got it. Bake for 20 to 25 minutes, 180 degrees C. It's like lasagna's lazy cousin who doesn't do pasta. Fair enough. Grilled aubergine cheese toasty if you have a sandwich press or a frying pan. Aubergine fried rice. And a bonus trick, revive the bread. Sprinkle with water and heat in the oven for a few minutes to revive it, or toast it to make croutons. And if it's fossilized, accept defeat and make breadcrumbs. Well, there we go. So this sort of thing is a step above what you can do with a regular internet search. Taking the meal thing a little bit further, let's say I want to get it to not just give me one meal, but a whole set of dishes for something specific. And let's go back to an empty one and paste in. I'm having a dinner party for 4, and I want a meal plan for a 3-course meal, which is budget friendly and easy to cook. Let's see what it says. So it's just pretty immediately giving me a 3-course dinner party menu. I say pretty immediately. It's taking a minute or so to do. This, by the way, will be a little bit quicker depending on the speed of your computer and the speed of your internet connection. These things can speed up a little bit. Some AI tools happen on your computer or on device, whereas some of them happen in the cloud. So there will be some differences in speed dependent on that, but we're not going to go into the technical elements today. But it's gone through, it said garlic mushroom bruschetta to start, 1 pan creamy tomato pasta with roasted vegetables as a main, Cheats chocolate mousse for dessert. And then it's given me a budget, 15 to 20 pounds, depending on store and what you already have. Now, with some of the previous ones, I've mentioned that you could iterate, like on that letter that I did about potholes. I iterated on it to make it more professional, but I can get it to do other things here. I could say something like I want it to create a shopping list for me. Create me a shopping list which includes every item required for this meal, and export it into a PDF for me to print off. And that's something that not everyone will know about AIs, is that it can actually give you digital information. You can say, give me a PDF, or you can say, give me a presentation or a Word document, or give me a picture, and it will generate that for you and let you download it. Now, with a bit of a job like this is the sort of thing where I might sometimes wander off and let my AI work in the background, and then come back to it a moment later after I've made my cup of coffee, and then it will give me the tools. So shopping list as a printable PDF. Click here to download it. Click here to download. Let's put that into my downloads folder. Now, of course, I've only shared my OpenAI window. But if I go to my downloads folder, I can show you the PDF that it's just given us. Downloads, here it is, shopping list dinner party PDF. Let me show you what this looks like. Share. There it is, shopping list dinner party PDF. So here it is. It says what I need from the bakery, baguette or crusty bread, what I need in terms of vegetables. It's actually split it out for me in terms of the different sections of the supermarket. Whipping cream, soft cheese, grated cheese, salt, pepper, icing, sugar, vanilla extract is optional, dark chocolate. So it's just looked at the entire meal plan that it's given me, and it knows what we need to buy if we don't have it already. Let me go back to the ChatGPT window. So being able to export things like this is very clever. Now I'm just looking at the time. I'm going to skip the summarising portion. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do this really quickly. I've got some Wikipedia pages open on really difficult topics like quantum mechanics, and I'm just highlighting the contents of this Wikipedia page, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it into ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask it to summarise it and make it easier to understand. Oh, this is a very long page, actually. Let's just take it to there, copy, and paste it into ChatGPT. You'll see that it's quite a lot of stuff that I've just pasted in. At the very top, I'm going to write, let me say, summarize the following briefly and clearly. So this is not just something you can do with long Wikipedia articles. If somebody sends you an email that's 20 pages long, or if you have an insurance document or some sort of legal agreement that you want to read through, but it's 100 pages and you just don't have time to look through it, you can drop it into an AI and then ask the AI questions about it, or get it to summarize it for you, or give you the key points that you need to be aware of. It's a very useful tool for taking quite difficult text-based documents and making them a little bit easier. So here we go. Quantum mechanics apparently is the fundamental theory describing the behavior of matter and light at atomic and subatomic scales. I won't read it all out to you, but you can see that this is relatively straightforward when we're talking about a very difficult topic. It's trying to make it as easy as possible by giving us in clear list-based points here. And then it asks at the end, do you want this as a printable PDF or broken down even more? Now, the reason I didn't want to go on too much further in terms of this side of things is I wanted to show you some of the other tools. I wanted to show you image generation, especially because I think this is so much fun. I'm going to share my my Safari window instead of ChatGPT, because with ChatGPT there, I was using an app on the Mac, and there is an app available on the phone as well that you can talk to. But for this next one, I'm actually going to use something that works inside an internet browser, and it's something that I quite like. It's called Midjourney, Now, we're still looking at the Wikipedia article about quantum mechanics, but if I jump over here, this is at midjourney.com. And Midjourney is a tool for creating images and videos. And there's a few here that I made earlier. A bicycle with wings in the style of Picasso. There it is. And a character design sheet of an anthropomorphic hippo wearing a construction worker's outfit from various different angles in the style of Pixar. So you can see it's sort of it's quite good at generating stuff. I'll show you how it works. Up at the top it has a little section where it says, what will you imagine? And you type into it what it is that you want. And you can include the subject, but you can also include the style. You can use artists that you know as a style. So in this example, I'm going to say a crocodile painted by Vincent van Gogh. Midjourney is unusual in that when you ask it for these things, it creates 4 of them at a time, which you can then look at all 4 of them and decide which one is the best one. And you can take the one that you like the most and then iterate on it and make it better and make changes to it. So here is my 4 crocodiles in the style of Vincent van Gogh. You can see that it's done quite well in terms of the brush strokes. It's even got, it looks a little bit like the Starry Night up in the top left there. Let's say I want, I've come up with some really silly ones here, actually, just because I wanted to show you the sort of things you can do. A cross-sectional blueprint of the perfect sandwich, a child's drawing in crayon. So the style references that you give it here, it doesn't have to be a particular artist. It could be a period in time. You could tell it that you want it to be generated using a particular type of art material. So you could say it needs to be an oil painting, or it needs to be a pencil sketch. It needs to be multimedia art. And here we go, a child's artwork, blueprint of the perfect sandwich. It's even put it on crumpled up paper, so it really does look like a child's picture on crayon. There we go. What else have I got? There's something that's a little bit more useful. And I've used this with customers actually when we are trying to come up with things like logos. What this can be very good for is giving you ideas. When you have zero idea about how something is supposed to look, getting an initial start on something, AI is very good at it. So, for example, a simple logo for a company that makes nuts and bolts. And I've actually done this with customers before that want me to design logos for them. And instead of just jumping straight in and designing what I want, I've said to them, well, what sort of thing are you after? And we've used something like ChatGPT just to sort of flesh out some ideas before actually doing the finished design. So we can come up with something like this, and then someone would look at this and go, oh, I really like the 4th one there. I'd like something like that, but I'd prefer it in blue, and I'd like it to sort of be you know, in the style of Van Gogh or something along those lines. So it's quite clever. It's got a design there that looks like a sort of nut and bolt, and it's got the screw threads in there. It's clever stuff. So you can do videos with this sort of stuff as well, but it takes a little bit longer. So I don't want to demonstrate that side of thing because it takes a few minutes to generate each video. But if I wanted to generate a video, you know, a lot of people are doing political things, of course, because that's that's the sort of thing that's very worrying to people at the moment, is that they can't believe anything at the moment. If I wanted to have, you know, Trump meeting Keir Starmer and them getting into a fight, I could make that. I could make a video of that and post it on social media and say, hey, look what happened the other day. This is why we've got to be quite careful about the sort of stuff that we look at. There's one more tool that I wanted to show you. I'm running out of time a little bit because I wanted to do a little bit of Q&A time at the end of the hour. But there is one more tool that I really, really like in terms of AI, and it's part of Google's suite of AI tools. And it's called NotebookLM. Now, I'll pop it open on the screen here, but let me just give you some idea of what happens here. And I mentioned at the start that most AIs, they work by being given these large data sets of information that they are trained on. Well, with NotebookLM, you actually give the AI your own data set. And the AI that it's using is Google's AI, which is called Gemini at the moment. I think it's Gemini 2, in fact, if we're getting specific. But what I've done with this, it comes from a training course that I was doing about coding. I was actually doing this at the end of last year and beginning of this year. And see, what I've done is down the left here, I've given it sources. I've given it all of my training notes that I made as I went through this training course. And if I click on one, I can see the training notes are in the bottom half here. And it's given me a sort of a guide as to the source of this training note, so I can read a bit of an AI idea of what this is training me in. But now that I've given it all of this source material, I can start asking it questions about my specific source material. So, you know, I can tell it something, or I can ask it something like, what is object-oriented programming? And it will look into my source material, my notes from this coding course, and it will tell me object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm that builds upon procedural programming by introducing the concept of objects. It gives me a bit of an overview here, and I can quiz it about all sorts of stuff. Now, I've had friends and customers that have used this since I've recommended it to them, and they've used it for things like putting very complex and detailed medical journal articles into it as source information, and then giving it questions about those. Let's say that I've got 12 scientific journal articles that I need to read, which would take me a whole afternoon to sit down and read. I could put them all into here and then ask it the specific question that I need an answer to, and I could get a relatively good answer to that question within a few minutes, instead of having to spend a whole afternoon reading through. Not only that, but it cites those original articles. It cites the sources that you give it into. So you might see here that it's citing these different sections: 3.2, 3.8, 3.3, 3.8. So it's telling me which sections these are in. The other thing that this does, which is very clever, I'm just going to make sure that I'm still sharing the audio from this. Share sound. Yes, I am. The other thing that this can do, which is really clever, is it can give you a podcast, an audio podcast about the topic that you're interested in learning. So this is a proper Blue Peter moment, because these take about 5 minutes for the computer to generate them. So here's one that I made earlier. It's got almost a 16-minute podcast. I was quite specific in my instructions to it. I said, just talk about object-oriented programming. This is the thing that I'm interested in specifically. So I've now got 15 minutes and 46 seconds of people talking about object-oriented programming.
You know, we interact with incredibly complex software constantly, every single day. Things like AI models predicting what we want, or these huge systems running global logistics, banking.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Absolutely. And for the developers building all that, the real challenge isn't just, writing lines of code.
Right. It's managing the sheer complexity, isn't it? Making sure.
So it's this. I mean, I won't bore you with this, but you'll see if I jump through to 8.5
Steering wheel
minutes
without needing to know the exact mechanics of the steering rack.
Okay, simplify.
It's giving us analogies, it's simplifying things for us, and it's giving it to me in a way that I can listen to whilst I'm driving to a customer in the car. So this is the sort of thing that makes AI amazing. You can put in a very small amount of effort to get out an awful lot of reward. Now, I was hoping to have a bit of a question and answer at the end, and we've got a few minutes still here at the end. So if I just jump back to my presentation, there it is. I'm not demonstrating any longer. I am now into the last section here. Oh yes, there's a bit here. I just wanted to make sure you're aware of a few useful things. I may have mentioned these already, but it's worth knowing that AI can be wrong. It looks for these patterns, and sometimes it will just bring out parrot-like things that it's seen that are not correct. It can be confidently wrong as well. So if it gives you anything that you think is important information, you always need to double check it. It's also worth knowing that you really should, with this, be using trusted tools. There's a lot of fairly shady AIs out there that you ought to be careful of. Use the stuff by known big players in the game like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, and you don't want to share too much personal information with these AI tools if you can help it. So I think we're going to go on to a bit of a questions and discussion section. If anybody has any questions or discussion, feel free to pop your microphones on. If there's anything that's come up, is there anything that surprised you? Anything out of that you'd like to try?
Chris, can I just first of all say that is an impressive presentation. I really got a lot out of that.
Oh, good, thank you.
I've got about 20 or 30 questions, but
we might need to explore those individually together at some point. But which do you think would be your favourite one to ask?
Well, one thing that comes over, having worked with other countries and cultures on programming and developing applications and business applications, it drives me around the twist to have American voices with American slang and American drawl and Americanisms. Can these ChatGPT tools talk to you with a refined British accent or a Scottish accent, or is it just limited to Americanisms and American accents?
It depends on which AI you're using. So with ChatGPT, there are a number of different voices that you can use. I can't remember off the top of my head whether they are different based on which country they're from, but I believe they probably have options for that. So yes, the answer is yes. I know that when Apple's AI becomes good, it's not particularly great at the moment, but when Apple's AI gets better, Siri currently has lots of options in terms of whether it's speaking with a British accent or an Irish accent or Australian or American accent, or an Indian accent, and so you can choose which one you prefer. And I believe that all of these different AIs will most likely have different options in terms of the voice. You know what? I'm actually just going to go into the settings of ChatGPT whilst we are talking. And see whether there is an obvious answer here. The settings here are pretty intensive. There's a lot of different stuff here. Currently, my voice is set to a voice called a breeze, which apparently is animated and earnest. If I just jump through some of these.
I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with you.
Very
Hey there.
American.
I've got a really great feeling about us.
Female, but
Nice
still
to meet
American.
you.
Oh,
I'm
very
excited
American.
to help you.
Hey there.
So it
Hi
seems
there.
like
Hey,
ChatGPT.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you. If there's anything
Oh.
you need, please don't hesitate to let me know.
That
I'm
one
here to
sounded
help.
British. I don't know if you can hear those voices
Yeah,
that were
they're
coming out there.
they're coming through clear. Yeah.
So that one is called Vale, and Vale sounds British. So you can jump through the different voices and find
Okay.
one that you prefer.
Okay.
It was a fantastic presentation. It's given me a lot to think about. Yeah, I'm speechless, really. It's just been wonderful, and I didn't realize one could do all this.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? The amount of stuff that these AIs can do. It's the fact that you can speak to it now as well is really very useful. I actually this is something I was going to mention in the presentation, but I didn't. I'll just sort of I'll stop sharing my screen so I can show you. I've set up on my phone a little button on the very front of the screen. You see those four little lines there. that automatically opens up ChatGPT in a way where I can talk to it. That's particularly useful for me with small children, where they will ask me a question that I don't know the answer to immediately, or feel like, can you define this word for me, Dad? And I'll think, well, I'll have a go. But then I think, well, I've probably not done a particularly good job of that. I can tap on this and say, define anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Establishmentarianism is quite the mouthful. It originally referred to a political movement in 19th century England.
There we go. I won't play the whole thing, but you see, you can just you can say to it, "What's this?" and it just pipes up and tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, Chris, what's we could do with a second session on this actually.
Yeah, maybe I might do one. I could do one in another month.
What you mentioned ChatGPT? There's a free one or a £20 a month. Are all the ones you've listed? Are they free or subscription, pay as you go? How do you pay for them or use them?
You will find, I believe, for all of these AIs that they will have a free level that you can start off with to try it out, and that will be limited in some way. Like you might be able to ask it 10 things a day, perhaps, but at which point it says, right, if you want to go on any further, you need to give me some money, at which point I can do this, and this for you. So I think you'll find that all of them will give you a free tier, with then the option to move up afterwards.
Okay.
Or at least all the ones I've tried have done it that way.
Okay, and then the other one, who owns the content once it's been generated? Do you own it? Does ChatGPT own it? And can you delete your history of usage? Because, there's obvious implications there.
You know what? That's a great question. And I don't, off the top of my head, know enough to give you a good answer on that one. I believe that the content that the AI generates after you give it your prompts is owned by you, or at least I, as the user, can use that content as much as I want without worrying about OpenAI coming to me and saying, that's our material that you're using. You're not allowed to use that, or you're not allowed to make any money off that.
Right.
In terms of who sort of keeps that information, I think that each of these companies will have their own privacy policies, which you would probably need to read through and digest, or perhaps get an AI to read through it for you and digest, and then ask it questions on exactly what it is. But yes, that's something we may need to look at in a little bit more detail together.
Okay, I'll try asking it then.
Yes, I'd be interested to know what the answer is that it gives you.
Yeah. It's I've made a list, loads and loads of questions, which won't.
No, it's no problem, because I've got to really give it a lot of thought and try using it.
Let it sink in a little bit.
It's got to sink in.
That's it. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop at this point. But it's been a lovely thing. I was really looking forward to giving this talk, actually, because I've been enjoying AI. I've been sort of using it for a little while, because it's the sort of thing that fascinates me. So I like to dive into this sort of stuff a little bit sooner than most other people do. So yes, I've been looking forward to giving talks about AI for a little while. So we may do this again in the future with another one. There's going to be another one later this month about using ancestry.co.uk to make family trees, and then we'll have 2 more talks like this every month from here on in, as long as OpenAI, as long as TMS Open keeps on going. Lovely to have you here. And of course, for anyone watching this presentation after the fact, of which there may be a few, if you've got any questions, feel free to pop me an email. We can book you in for a session or talk about them in a future TMS Open. So I'm going to a great pleasure. I'm going to
thank you very much.
Say bye-bye at this point.
If we want to see it again, it's easy to do that.
I will endeavour to make it easy. Okay. The last one of these that I recorded, I had technical difficulties, which meant that I couldn't share it. because my screen capture that I was doing ended up having personal information on it, names and stuff, and I couldn't in all good conscience share it because I didn't have the permission of the people whose names were on it, because I ended up sharing my own screen instead of my demo machine. But this one I will definitely be sharing. I was thinking I might do it via Patreon, but I think Patreon I'm now deprecating a little bit. I will work out a way, but I can certainly happily send a copy to everyone that was here today, and to anyone that wants it in the future.
Thank you very
yes,
much, Chris.
enjoy the rest of your day, and I will speak
you.
to you at some point soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.